Hello there friends and welcome. For today's Pathfinder Enhanced video, we have at last the Legend Mythic Path guide. While the story of the game tries to make it look as if losing your mythic powers is a big deal, gameplay wise the Legend Path is actually extremely powerful. If you thought having 20 levels was enough to make your character OP, imagine double that. For 40 levels of complete progression into any class combination you want, which makes Legend extremely customizable. Plus, going over the level 20 cap will provide you with many benefits such as much higher base attack bonus progression, double that of almost all of the other mythic paths, which results of course in way higher AB, higher than 150 even, during combat, a lot more attacks per round, amazing damage of course, which is directly tied to BAB progression, high saving throws overall, amazing hit points higher than 1000, it's the complete package. Legends can also retain some powerful abilities from previous mythic paths, such as extreme critical range. So without further ado, let us get into our Legend Mythic Path, first with how the mechanics behind Legend actually work. Alright, first, when it comes to unlocking Legend, well, it's super simple, you don't need to do anything at all. It will always be available for you at the start of Chapter 5, no matter what previous choices you picked. If you've accepted Nocticula's Profane Gift, you'll have to pass a will saving throw to resist her influence, so you can keep Legend, which is pretty easy to do with just buffs. Now, the main appeal of Legend is of course increasing your level cap to 40 from 20, and it even increases all of your ability scores by +4. However, this will not happen immediately. When you first become a Legend at the start of Chapter 5, you won't gain the actual main benefits, so you'll still be at Mythic 7, and from now onwards you'll have to do around 3 to 4 quests where you basically just go somewhere where you previously acquired mythic powers, and your mythic rank will be reduced by each one of these quests, until you are finally left at Mythic 2. It is only at this point that you'll fully become a Legend with an increase to the level cap. The quests are all pretty easy, except for the last one at the Grey Garrison, as there's a certain shadow enemy there that can be pretty powerful, so I recommend you fully buff for that one at least. Once all that is finally done, you'll truly and fully become a Legend. It will lock you at Mythic rank 3, however, you'll only get to retain mythic abilities and feats up to Mythic rank 2. And the Legend benefits will finally kick in. All of your ability scores will be increased by +4, your level cap will become 40, and you'll also, from this point onwards, receive a big boost whenever you gain experience. Note that this will only affect the main Legend character themselves. As far as your party members, they will remain at Mythic rank 8. It will not increase from 8, but they'll retain all of the previous mythic abilities and feats they picked, which is very useful. And as far as the experience to level, honestly, when you do the last Legend quest, your character will receive a massive boost to their levels. Mine, for example, went from level 19 to 36, so most of the levels will already be granted to you right there. For the other ones, well, you'll gain them very fast because of the boost you experience. With that out of the way, let's now get into what you actually truly gain by becoming a Legend. As I said, your level cap will be increased to 40, so that's an extra 20 levels you can choose in any way you want. The main benefit of this is increasing your base attack bonus progression even further. Instead of 20, you'll have double that, 40. This is a reason why Legends are way better, at least in my opinion, as full martial class combos. For example, I have Demonslayer and Mutation Warrior. Both of these classes gain 1 base attack bonus every single level for a total of 40. The main benefit is that increasing your BAB will also grant you extra attacks per round. By default, a level 20 character would have a maximum of only 4 attacks per round. On the other hand, through Legend, we can double that to 8. Or even 9 when you add the haste boost. And that's of course not counting all the attacks of opportunity you can make, and of course your natural attacks too. So this character can end up with something like 13 attacks per round. It doesn't need any saying that increasing your BAB also highly increases your attack rolls. Legends are the mythic path that can achieve the highest attack bonus possible even when mostly unbuffed. But of course, true buffing is when you reach your maximum potential. Increases to BAB are also directly tied to damage, all because of the power attack or the Piranha Strike feats, as the higher your base attack bonus, the higher the bonus from these feats. which is why my Legend here has 55 extra damage added to all of his two-handed Great Axe hits, coming from power attack and mythic power attack, and his huge base attack bonus. I don't think it needs any saying an extra 55 is a big increase, especially because this damage will be multiplied on critical hits. As a Legend, you'll also continue increasing your saving throws, depending on your class of course. Even if Will is our main weakness as a dual martial class, we can still acquire more than enough from buffs and so on. Amazingly enough, Legends can also increase their skill ranks past 20 whenever you level for a maximum of 40, so their skills can also become extremely high. When it comes to hit points, the extra amount you gain from Constitution will highly help increase them, because it's also tied to level, which is why my character here has higher than 1000 hit points total, not counting temporary HP as well. Of course, as a Legend, you'll also get to pick more feats as you level up, through both normal leveling and if your class has bonus feats, and more bonuses to ability scores too every 4 levels, just like normal. Now let's get into the limitations of Legend first. You cannot increase any class past level 20. For example, my Demonslayer here will not go past it to 21. You'll have to pick something else. The base classes are all limited to 20. Second, the spellcasting classes like Cleric, Wizard, Oracle and so on will be limited to 20 caster levels, because once again you can only pick 20 into each one of them. Let's say I was at level 20 Cleric. My spellbook would be kept at level 20 Cleric. If you were to level into Oracle, another divine class, you would get another spellbook for the Oracle spells that would start at level 1 and so on, instead of upgrading your previous one from Cleric. It's another reason why I say Legends are much better for martial classes, as while your caster level will not increase past 20, your base attack bonus will. And by the way, your pets will not scale past level 20, just like caster level. Now that we know how the Legends mechanics work, let's talk about the best synergy it has with other mythic paths, because the thing is, Legend is a late game mythic like Gold Dragon and the Secret Devil path, Swarm 2. What this means is, well, you have to start the game as something else. One of the early mythics like Angel, AZATA, Demon, Lich and Trickster, AEON 2. Out of all of these, there are only 3 that truly have synergy with the Legend path. First, merged Angel and Lich characters. If you don't know what merging is, I already have a guide linked to the side here or in the pinned comments down below explaining all of the mechanics behind it. But to put it simply, when you are a merged Lich or Angel, because the mythic spellbooks will be added to your already existing spellbook, whenever you turn into a Legend, as the spells are already in your main spellbook, they will remain there. Both Angel and Lich have amazing mythic spells. Angel has extremely powerful defensive and offensive ones. The same for Lich, although in a lower scale. It's pretty much like keeping the best of them and then becoming a Legend. Just be careful, however, because if you respect your character after becoming a Legend, you will lose those very special spells. There are rumors this might be nerfed eventually. Well, it could certainly happen. But anyways, the last path that has the best synergy with Legend, and the one I think is the best for this purpose, is Trickster, as OP as always. The main reason is the big boost from Trickster, the truly best one, comes from the Perception rank 2 trick, which are the Trickster special critical feats. Completely normal, meta magic 2, and we also have stat focus now. The thing is, these feats are unlocked through Mythic Progression, but you only truly acquire them for your character during normal level up. The same for all of your party members and pets that can also get them. Since they were added to you from your normal levels, once you become a Legend, it won't matter that eventually you'll lose Perception rank 2. The OP Trickster feats will remain with your character, not just your main character, also your party members and even pets. I strongly think this has way less chances of being nerfed than the mythic spells from Angel and Lich. Because the thing is, as far as spells, well, you just have to remove them from the spellbook, it's as simple as that. For the Trickster feats, however, because they are gained through normal progression, all cat will basically have to force all of your party members, not just the main character, to respect if they ever think of removing them. Anyways, the end result is, if you go merged Angel or Lich, you retain the OP mythic spells. If you go Trickster to Legend, you retain the OP Trickster feats. Plus, Tricksters can also get the Knowledge Word 3 Greater Trick, which lets any party member pick any feat without bothering with prerequisites. so you can ignore the requirements when leveling up. The fun part about Trickster Legends is, this of course opens up even more customization for your party members. The only difference is you'll have to respect them if you want to achieve the maximum potential with Knowledge World 3. Also, when it comes to the Trickster synergy, because you don't immediately lose your mythic ranks as a legend, you slowly get them reduced through some of the quests. You can, for example, become a legend at the start of chapter 5, then respec all of your characters to make use of Knowledge World 3. Just be sure not to respec them after you lose the Trickster powers, so Perception 2 and World 3. Well, alright, now that we already know everything about Legend and how it works, let's finally get into our Legend build. For this guide, I have chosen a 20 Demonslayer and 20 Mutation Warrior. It's a very simple build, yet also very efficient. From this guide onwards, I'll also post other Legend builds. After all, it has the ultimate customizability. But for this one, let's start with something simple. This build makes use of the great synergy with Legend and high martial base attack bonus characters, so we can get 40 at the end game for maximum attacks and damage. We also have full favorite enemy progression into all demons for plus 10 to attack and damage against them, and through the instant enemy spell cast as a swift action, you can apply this to any other enemy in the game. Ranger will also provide us with a pet, which of course by itself is already OP enough. As for Mutation Warrior, we'll have even more feats, more than we need to be fair, including the special fighter feats like weapon specialization and greater weapon focus, plus the highly powerful Mutation. Weapon training is amazing too for even higher bonuses to AP and damage, and lastly the capstone, ability Weapon Mastery, will allow us to overcome one of the main weaknesses of Legend. Because of the amazing synergy with Mythic Power Attack and higher base attack bonus for damage, I don't really recommend you pick Mythic Critical, which means you end up with lower critical damage. The Weapon Mastery Capstone, however, is a way to overcome that. While your AC is not high, it doesn't really matter. You have your pet, you can easily ride it, you also have reach weapons. And speaking about reach, even with a great axe, you'll still get to achieve pretty high reach between yourself and the enemy. Anyways, let's get started with the build progression. For the first 20 levels, I'll try to keep it fast because we have 40 levels to cover. For this build I went with Human. It's just a personal choice, you can truly go with anything you want, any race. After all, this build has an abundance of feats, both bonus feats and also from normal progression with Legend. For background, Pickpocket was chosen for higher initiative, as you won't be able to afford the Mythic Initiative feat. I prefer to start as a Demonslayer because this will grant you the pet. For ability scores, I recommend you max out Strength at 20. The main reason is as a Legend we can increase this further and make it an even score at the end. 12 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, I would then dump Charisma, you don't really need it. Intelligence as well, so you can start with 14 Wisdom. This way you won't have to increase it any further through headbands and so on, and still get to cast all of the Ranger spells. For skill points, Athletics, as you'll have amazing strength. Use Magic Device to cast any spell from any class through a scroll. Perception 2, we can increase this a lot through the Legend extra ranks. And honestly, lastly, I would just go for Mobility. But you can also go with, for level 1, it's the usual, Power Attack and then Cleave. We want 2 attacks just at level 1. For level 2, for your ranged combat style feat, I recommend you pick the Menacing style, because it will let you pick not only Improved Critical for free later on, but most importantly Shatter Defenses, even early, so you can bypass Dazzling Display and Weapon Focus. For the first one, just go with Toughness, because we can't get Shatter Defenses yet. For level 3, Cleaving Finish for the extra attack whenever we kill an enemy, and this build has amazing damage, even early on. For the ranged terrain, Urban, for level 4, you get to choose your pet, and I recommend you go with either the dog and the wolf, or if you want a dinosaur, the Triceratops. They can all trip and knock down the enemies for free on their attacks. For level 5, Boon Companion, so that our pet can fully scale to our level. For level 6, as a ranger bonus feat, Shatter Defenses, we get it way earlier, just because we can get it for free. For level 7, Outflank, we can't delay it anymore. This is especially useful not just for a Legend with amazing attacks per round, but also a Trickster Legend for the amazing critical hit chance. For level 8, Favor Terrain and Underground. For level 9, the newly added extremely useful Lunge feat for even higher reach. The penalty to AC doesn't matter for this build. For level 10, as a ranger bonus feat, Improved Critical into Great Access. I have chosen to go with the Gravesinger for this build. It is well, pretty much the ultimate weapon in the game. Plus, it grants us even higher critical damage. Once again, to make up for the fact we cannot pick Mythic Critical. There isn't much of a point in picking Improved Critical earlier, because you can only get the best Great Axe at around this point anyways, Chapter 3. For level 11, Combat Reflexes, as at this point, all of your party members should already have their maximum critical chance. For level 13, now is when we get started into the special Trickster critical feats, which we'll be retaining for our Legend build. So the first Improved Critical and then Great Axe. And then Favorite Terrain Abyss, as you are close to Chapter 4, which takes place there. At level 14, as a bonus feat, Improved Critical, and then, since we get some natural attacks with this build, including the first Ascension close to the Abyss ability for the extra Gore hit, which Legends do retain, I would pick Improved Critical and Gore. For level 15, the second Trickster special critical feat. For level 17, the last one. And then at 18, Improved Critical into Bites. We'll get a Bite from Mutation Warrior, and you can get more from other abilities like Scald's Animal Fury, and witches like Ember can also grant you another extra bite attack, they do stack. Then at level 19, because I have yet to become a full legend at this point, so I still have the Trickster Perception 2 tricks to qualify for the special Trickster feats. The first Trickster critical feats just like level 13, but in this case, for bites, as we get more bite attacks than Gores. For your last favorite terrain, pick Desert. And that's it for our full Demonslayer progression, so now let us get into the remaining 20 levels for Mutation Warrior. Don't feel restricted by the feat selection here, you can change the order if you want, plus we'll get more than enough feats. After all, we are a fighter now. But for 21 weapon focus into Great Axes, or your weapon of choice. Then as a bonus feat, Improved Initiative, because we cannot get Mythic Initiative, so every boost helps. For level 22, Mounted Combat, we have an abundance of feats, so we might as well pick some of them. And then Spirited Charge at 23. As a fighter bonus feat, Weapon Specialization, Great Axes. For 25, Great Cleave, and Weapon Training Axes. And then Improved Cleaving Finish. This can make a big difference for Legends because of how many attacks we have per round. To put it simply, you'll just explode enemies all around you when you kill a single one. For level 27, Blind Fight, and then Feral Mutagen for the extra bite attack. For 28, Greater Weapon Focus, Great Axe. And then Shake It Off. The main reason is through our secondary weapon training ability, we can pick Fighter's Tactics, so just like an Inquisitor with solo tactics, when it comes to feats like Shake It Off, all of our nearby allies will be treated as if having the feat, at least to increase the bonuses of our legend. Then keep progression into weapon training access, which is also what you should pick on all of the other remaining weapon training secondary picks. For level 30, just equip any belt that grants you at least +2 to dexterity, and go for Precise Strike. For level 31, Advanced Weapon Training and Trained Initiative, once again to overcome our low initiative due to the lack of Mythic Initiative, and the Feral Wings Discovery. For level 32, Greater Weapon Specialization, Great Axe. After that, another Advanced Weapon Training and Fighter's Reflexes. Then for your actual weapon training ability, Natural Attacks. We do have some bites and gore. And remember to continue Axes. For level 34, Improved Blind Fight. And then Greater Blind Fight. This way, no matter what concealment the enemy might have, no matter the source, we'll be able to overcome that. Plus Greater Mutagen, a must-have. Now, from level 36 onwards, you can really pick anything you want, even earlier, depending on what you prefer. What I did was pick the Indomitable Mount feat, after all we have Mounted Combat and High Mobility, but like I said, it doesn't matter that much, especially at this point. And besides that, Coordinated Maneuvers to increase our trip attempts, since we have it for free as a ranger through the aspect of the Wolf spell. And lastly, for the 2 remaining fighter bonus feats, Critical Focus and Exhausting Critical. As I said, it doesn't really matter that much, but since we are fully built into criticals, why not? At least you can exhaust some enemies like the Scary, and this can really cripple enemies. Plus, it doesn't have a save. As for Mythic Progression, well, we only really have 2 ranks. For the first Ascension ability, if you're going melee close to the Abyss, for the extra Gore attack. As far as your first Mythic ability, I think Last Stand is overall the most useful one of them all here. It doesn't require scaling with more Mythic levels, and the benefit is really good, you pretty much not die, ever. Since it is a game over if the main character dies, I'd rather go with this. For the Mythic feat, Mythic Power Attack, once again for the amazing synergy we have with higher base attack bonus from legend levels, and power attack. Of course, when leveling your character through your early Mythic path, you can reach Mythic 7 before it starts being downgraded through legend. For that, you know, I have other Merged Angel, Lich and also Trickster builds you can use as base. But for a Trickster build, it's pretty simple. At Mythic 4, you want both Perception 1 and 2 to qualify for the special Trickster feats, and then by Mythic 7, be sure you get Knowledge World 3 to qualify for any feat. Alright, now let's cover gear for our Legend. As a fully focused melee build, you probably already know most of these spots, but for the amulet, Valexis is a must-have. Legends can get very high stats, especially for their primary stat, because of the huge Legend boost. We also have the Mutation, then +2 from Valexias, and amusingly enough, while you lose Nocticulus Profane gift bonus when you first become a legend, at the end game when you enter the last dungeon she'll appear and you'll have an option of getting it again, so thank you Nocticula. For armor, Chainmail of Camaraderie is as always the best. For robes and shirts, Wandering Coalman. Sadly, this build cannot get the Ever Ready mythic ability, at least not after you truly become a legend, so the bonus to attacks of opportunity will help. For belts, it's pretty simple, belts of physical perfection with the highest modifier, but early belts of strength. If you went with Trickster, you can also use Mangling Frenzy for the extra damage on critical hits. It does require you to be raging, so you kinda need a Scald party member. For gloves, Fencer's Gift no doubt, not just for the extra damage when two-handing, but it even enhances our weapon training, both for access and even natural attacks too. For boots, as usual, Boots of Stampede, for the higher damage when charging. For the helmet slot, early helmets that increase initiative like Windmaster. Then, after you become a legend, the Shy Lily helmet. The thing with Shy Lily is, at the last dungeon, once you acquire Nocticulus Profane gift again, this will kinda stop mattering for you. So you might as well go for the classic Hat of the Bitter End. For glasses, Malocchio can grant you a huge boost to perception, but if you want more attack and damage, the Goggles of Piercing Gaze, otherwise Broken Trickster, for the nice tanking property. For cloaks, Cloaks of Resistance with the highest modifier. The Legend Cloak is kinda subpar. For rings is the usual, the Ring of Imminent Demise for the extra boost when two-handing, and the highly overpowered Ring of Triumphant Advance for the huge extra boost to both attack, damage, and actually even saving throws too. As for braces, early game, just go with the lucky braces and eventually the braces offer Abrupt Onslaught once you get sneak attack. As a ranger, you can rely on the Sense Vital spell, so you don't even need the Baphomet book. Alright, now let's get into weapons and Quickslots for our legend. For weapons, as I said before, Gravesinger to me is by far the best, not just because it is the ultimate weapon in the game, but especially for this build since we cannot get Mythic critical, at least not after becoming a legend. The extra critical damage this weapon has will make up for that, while still allowing us to achieve the maximum critical range possible. The Legend Path also has another weapon with extreme synergy, the Divine Dismissal Earthbreaker. This can turn your character into one of the ultimate dispellers in the game. It lets you cast greater dispel magic at will, as if you were a wizard, with caster level equal to your character's level, and get this, it will fully scale with all of your legend levels, so 40 at max level. So you're basically dispelling the enemy as if you were a level 40 wizard. It is a standard action, which is somewhat annoying because you cannot attack in the same round. But you know, if you dispel a powerful boss, they're pretty much marked for death anyways. When it comes to the very early game, so when you're still just a Demonslayer or Mutation warrior, rich weapons are the way to go. Remember, you can only get Gravesinger at chapter 3. So before that, go with Glaives and Bardicious, and for chapter 2, the Wide Sweep Cleaving Scythe. For Quickslots, the Dragon Familiar Joystick acts as usual for more damage. A Lesser Extend Rod is just here to extend some of the powerful spells like Lead Blades, Acid Maw, most importantly, Sense Vitals. The Trusted Friend Trinket is exclusive to the Legend Mythic Path. It doesn't matter much for our build, but if you went with a Charisma focused character, it can help, as it grants a very rare +2 Circumstance boost to your Charisma, and also +5 to Persuasion. The Signet of House Vespertilio to increase any skill of choice, and as always, since we have high use magic device, you can use any scroll to cast any spell from any class, especially supportive divine scrolls like Restoration, Heal and Mass Heal. Well, alright friends, so this was it from my Legend Mythic Path guide. If you found this guide useful, as always, please remember to like, subscribe and also consider becoming a channel member. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for watching and see you next time. And don't worry because more Legend builds are coming too.